तत्परम्पर्यय विद्महे ज्ञानलिङ्गेश्वराय धीमहि तन्नो गुरुः प्रचोदयात्। ओम योग महर्षि डॉक्टर स्वामी गीतानंद गिरि गुरु महाराज की जय। नमस्ते, स्वागतम, वणक्कम। Today I thought let's go back a little bit, because over the last 67 days every day we have been looking at different topics and we have been trying to grow in our knowledge, our skills, our practice, our competencies, our understanding. I don't know how much we have grown, but we have been trying at least. And the universe to me is a benevolent universe. And if we make our attempts, the universe will definitely bless us. It's like a small child. A small child offers something to its parents, and the parents accept it even if it is imperfect, because it is offered from the heart of the child. We are all children of the universe. We are children of Mother Nature. We are children of the Mother Planet. Hence, if our intent is pure, that is where the power of the Ichcha Shakti, the power of intent, comes in. And that is where the power of Sankalpa, which is an aspiration made very consciously for something higher. The power of Sankalpa, the Ichcha Shakti, is very strong. So yes, we have been making our best efforts. We have been doing our best. And that is all that counts. Again, not in comparison to somebody else who externally may appear to be better off or worse off. The only person we can ever compare ourselves, if we want to compare, is our own past self. And whether we are a better version of ourselves today than we have been in the past. If we have grown even by 1%, I think it's all worth it. So, keeping that in mind, let us go back to one of the foundational practices of the Gitananda tradition, which is the Pranava. And this morning when we went cycling, Divya accompanied me and didn't go far, but we went for quite some time and had a good chat and practiced some of our music on cycles. So maybe the next video is music on cycles. But anyway, I think she got inspired by the sound of music where they all are on cycles and singing. Maybe that's where it came from. I just had that thought. No, I didn't realize. And I was just thinking, these practices are such life-giving practices. They are like the life raft. They are the life raft. They are the bridge for us to move on. They are the sustainers. They are the sustainers of humanity. When we do these practices, these are not just techniques. What I find in the world of yoga is people are always looking for techniques. Patanjali is very clear. Maharishi Patanjali is very clear when he says, Eka Tattva Abhyasaha. All you need is one principle. You need one technique. And you can work on it. You don't need 1008 techniques. That is the ego that wants 1008 techniques so that you can show off. I know more techniques than you. I know more Sanskrit terms than you. I have read more verses from the Yoga Sutra than you. That's the ego. That ego which wants to quantify everything. All we need is a single technique. A single technique done well gets us where we need to be, enables us to be what we need to be. So the Pranava is where in the Gita and the tradition, the concepts that are there, when Maharishi Patanjali tells us, Tasya Vachakaha Pranavaha, the vibration of the Ishvara, the pure consciousness, that vibration is Pranava. Tasya Vachakaha Pranavaha, that Pranava, that is Tasya Vachakaha of Ishvara. And who is Ishvara? That pure consciousness that is beyond klesha and karma vipaka. And that pure consciousness is what we are in essence, but we have all our kleshas and karma vipaka that has moved us away from what we are. That is the avidya. The mala of avidya, the ashuddhi of avidya, that then gives rise to everything. So when we intone, the intonation of the pranava, foundational sound, a contractional sound, an elevation sound of satiety. Foundational, contractional, aspirational, all three are there. Akara, ukara, makara, omkara, om, aum. The pranava is not a label that we put on pure consciousness. You could call that pure consciousness as God, you could call it as divine, you could call it the universe, you could call it energy, light, call it whatever you want. That is the beauty of Maharishi Patanjali's teachings. These can actually fit into all systems of thought because they do not limit themselves. When we are making these nada, the vibrational sound, it is from the diaphragmatic region. This is the origin of sound. Remember? Nabi. The nabi, the navel center. And it is the diaphragm. And that is why it is the lower part of the lungs. And that is why always we have to start breathing on the lower and we have to exhale from the lower. The diaphragm is the most important muscle of respiration. And that is why this is the area that makes us feel at ease. So nowadays it's become popular to advise diaphragmatic breathing, abdominal breathing as a stress buster. Why? You are connecting it to your source. When you connect to the source, there's no duality. When there's no duality, there's no fear. When there's no fear, there's no stress. And when there's no stress, well, you are you. So this is where that connection happens. And this lower part of the lungs, when we are using the mind to consciously focus the prana here, and we are making the sound we are working with the whole lower limb. We are working at the gross level of existence, sthula sharira, that which can be perceived by the senses. And we are working on our old reptilian brain, reptilian complex, the spinal cord and brainstem. You are hitting at the root of everything and you are vibrating it. And you are saying, watch out, I know what's happening, I am taking control of this. This is where you are moving from an autopilot of survival to a conscious control, a mastery of life. You are not worried about surviving anymore. You are focused on living and right living. Such an important decision we need to make. We need to make the decision to come out of the primitive instincts of survival, which is why humanity is the mess it is in, because we are all caught in survival. And as long as you are on survival mode, you are going to be stressed. And again, when you are on survival mode, all that matters The highest virtue is survival. You want to become aware of it, that unconscious part, and you want to say, I am conscious of it now. I want to change this. I want to grow out of being a reptilian mentality, cold-blooded reptilian mentality. So what happens? Then you come into the ukara. Ooh. Now what has happened? This energy has been condensed. Ooh. This is the nada bindu. What is happening? The bindu is a condensation of all this consciousness. A focal point of consciousness, an aperture. A bindu is an aperture between the manifest and the unmanifest. Such a beautiful concept. And when you make the ukara, what are you doing? You are working on this heart region. You are helping this region to vibrate as it should, at a healthy level of vibration. Opening up the blockages in the heart, in the lungs, in the thymus. Remember the thymus? A very important part of the yogic anatomy physiology. The thymus. The moment we start to become capable of sexual activity, the thymus shuts down. The moment people come of age, the thymus shuts down. And the thymus is the most important immune body, because all the T lymphocytes, those T lymphocytes are so vital for our immunity. The T4, the T8, the T killer cells, natural killer cells, cell-mediated immunity, thymus. When we are working on this area, we are enhancing our immunity. That is why deep breathing is one of the key ways to revitalizing our immune system. Mid-chest breathing is a key way to working on revitalizing the immune system. Now, let's look at it a bit more metaphorically. Because we have a closed heart, our immune system has gone down. The moment we start opening the heart up, the moment we shift from being a getter, a grabber, to a giver, we have expanded ourselves. And automatically the immune system also opens up and functions better. And this is why it is so essential to give, because the more you give, all of this can flow better. Ukaya. And it works on the mammalian brain. The mammalian brain, which is primarily your limbic system. So you first had the reptilian, which is the spinal cord and brainstem. Then there was a little more, and then that went inside. And that is why that mammalian part of your brain is in the middle of the brain. The limbic system and all its stuff. Your amygdala, your hippocampus, all of that part. Cingulate gyrus, you hear all these names just to confuse you. The limbic system is basically just keeps on going round and round and round and round. So a thought comes in, and then you keep on getting emotionally agitated about it, and the more you think about it, the more agitated you become, and you will not stop thinking about it, because now you have got habituated. You have got habituated to being emotionally volatile. That has become your natural state. Now what do? You start to breathe. Slow, deep, mid-chest. Instead of being a... You say. Oh. Suddenly what happens? The limbic system, instead of being this emotional imbecile, you start to develop emotional intelligence. Your emotional quotient starts to grow, and you start to take control. The cortical part of you, which is the human part, starts to say, I'm the person in charge. Let's do it this way. Let's do it the right way. And it comes top down, rather than this influencing what you are. Emotions are part of the Pranamaya Kosha. People often try to put them in Manomaya Kosha. Emotions are the Pranamaya Kosha because there's no rationality at all about it. Most of the time when we are emotionally volatile, we have no idea what we are thinking at all. We are so muddled up. We are just in this frenzy. And that is why it is so important. Deep breathing is the key. Ukara, that is where you start to work on this mammalian part. And then Makara. What is the Makara? The is the sound of satiety. It is the elevatory sound of the higher consciousness. The prefrontal cortex, the higher cortical functioning comes into play. And the human part of us, the human brain comes into play. With the Akara, we are working on the gross level of existence. With the Ukara, the subtle levels of existence. And then you come to the Makara, you are now going into the causal layers of existence. Because the higher consciousness is rising, as Patanjali has so beautifully told us. Our consciousness has to be as pure as Ishvara. Sattva Purushayo Shuddhi Samye Kaivalyam. Kaivalya occurs when Sattva, our highest level of purity is equivalent to Purusha. Sattva Purushayo Shuddhi Samye. That Shuddhi, the purity is so high. And that is why when you develop satiety, when you develop santosha, when you develop serenity, when you develop contentment, all of these are words for santosha. That is the point where you are at that state. A discontented being, a discontented doing. You cannot be a discontented being. You can be a contented being. Discontented doing is where the reptilian and mammalian have their grip over you, a vicious grip over you. The moment contentment comes in, you have developed contentment. And when that occurs, in that contentment, in that santosha, santoshat anuttama sukha labha, that sukha, you are at ease. That is where the sthita prajna comes into our being, to elevate ourselves into that person of steady wisdom, and the opposites cease to affect us. Raga dvesha viyuktaistu vishayanindrayascharan atma vashye videyatma prasadam adhigachyati. That prasada, that tranquility starts to manifest. When we do the Pranava Pranayama, it's not just another breathing technique. And for God's sake, do not ever, and I request you nicely, not like gangster yogi, who's really becoming popular these days. Everybody who talks to me says, we like you as gangster yogi. I'm like, I can see myself giving a full yoga class as gangster yogi. Watch out, it may come soon. If you want it, ask for it, it may happen. For God's sake, do not ever try to describe pranayama as breathing exercises to me. Because most probably, the non-diplomatic part of me is going to punch you in the nose for that. Breathing exercises are just focusing on the breath and are working on the respiratory musculature to enhance your musculature. That's all. And by doing that, they help you get better oxygenation and release your carbon dioxide. Wonderful. They have nothing to do with prana. And if it has nothing to do with prana, it is not pranayama. And if you call it pranayama, it has to do prana. And if it doesn't enhance your awareness and experience of prana, it is not pranayama, it is a breathing exercise. And maybe that's what most people are doing. They have no idea what they're doing because they're not breathing in the first place. Don't get me on that. Coming back. Pranava is where these beautiful elevated concepts, Swamiji so beautifully brought them into the system where they become a pranayama. And you start to breathe with the akara, ukara, makara, bringing together the whole omkara. And that pranava, which is Ishvara's vibration, comes alive in you. Let's do it. Taking up a comfortable Vajrasana or any other posture if you are used to it, but Vajrasana enables you to breathe more easily, and it is a human posture, as I said yesterday. So it reminds us that we are to be human beings, human with manas. Okay? Chin Mudra, if you haven't got this grip on these things, go back. Some of the very first sessions, today is 67, some of the very first sessions were on these different mudras in the Pranava Pranayama. So I don't want to repeat it because some of you have been with me right from the first one. Chin Mudra, gesture of consciousness, upper inner thighs. Breathing out, low chest. Breathing in. Again, breathing into the low chest region. Breathing in. Take a few moments to contemplate the akaranada, vibrating the lower part of the lungs, the lower part of the body being energized, working with the sthula sharira, the gross level of existence, and our old primitive reptilian complex. Now performing Chinmaya Mudra, placing it on the upper inner aspects of the thigh. Mid-chest breathing, breathing out, breathing into the mid-chest, Madhyam Pranayama. Again, breathing in mid-chest. Once more, mid-chest. Take a few moments to contemplate the wonderful vibrations that you have educed into this region, energizing the mid-chest, the mid-lung region, energizing the whole thoracic cavity and all its contents, working on the Sukshma Sharira, that aspect of us that is at a subtle level of existence, and working with the mammalian part of the brain, the mammalian complex, and all the emotionalities. Coming to the third part, bringing the thumb on the inside and the other fingers around, performing the Adi Mudra for the Adyam Pranayama, the upper chest. Breathing out, breathing in, Again, breathing in. Once more, breathing into the upper chest. Take a few moments to contemplate how the energies have been opened up into the upper chest region, enabling a free flow of energy into the head and neck, vitalizing all these important structures of the central nervous system, the special senses, the cranial nerves, the seat of the whole psychoneuro-immune axis, all being energized by the Adyam Pranayama, connecting us to the causal layer of existence and enhancing the human part by working with the cortical area of the brain, especially the prefrontal cortex, that is the seat of Viveka and Vairagya, discernment and metacognition. Now let's bring it all together. The two Adi Mudras brought together at the navel. Remember the navel center, our psychic umbilical cord, knuckles touching, not like this and all of this type of stuff. I've seen all sort of mistakes. Let's bring the knuckles together. Focusing now on low, mid and high as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, the Akara, Ukara, Makara, three sounds coming together to produce the Omkara. Okay? Breathing out. Breathing in, low, mid, high. Breathing in, low, mid, high. Breathing in, low, mid, high. Take a few moments and contemplate how the low, mid and upper parts of the lungs have been unified in this practice, performing the Adam, Madhyam and Adyam Pranayama and making it the Mahat Yoga, the grand yogic unified breathing, letting the mind focus on the prana through the breath into the low, mid and upper parts of the lungs, energizing the low, mid and upper parts of the physical body, bringing together the gross, subtle and causal layers of our existence, clearing out the old subconscious, unconscious tendencies of the reptilian and mammalian complexes in the brain, enabling the humane aspects of our consciousness to have mastery over the lower subconscious, unconscious aspects, enabling us to be a unified being, a conscious being on the path of evolution, parinama, that is part and parcel of our self-effort towards the ultimate goal of Kaivalya, liberation. Thank you very much for being with me this morning and for the beautiful practice of Pranava. We'll keep working on things as they come up. Have a wonderful day wherever you are, and see you all whenever we meet next. Hari Om Tat Sat.